So what character are we going to draw today that starts with the letter C? It's time to enter the Drawing Dojo and find out. How you doing, everybody, and welcome to NinjaToons, where the martial arts meets the creative arts. I'm Michael Voog, the Art Ninja, and for the third week in this new year, we're going to be drawing Captain America, starting with the letter C. So today we're going to be drawing Captain America, starting with the letter C. Now, if you watch my 12 Days of Christmas giveaway, you know that that's my favorite superhero, so I couldn't wait to give you this drawing tutorial. Now we want to follow the 5 steps of creativity. So step 1 is to make sure we do our stretches. So we're going to do Thor, rotating our shoulders. Then we have Wonder Woman, loosening up our wrists. Followed by Batman, stretching out our spine. Then we have Superman, stretching out our sides. After Superman, we have Captain America, stretching out our shoulders. Then we have Iron Man, stretching out our fingers, making a nice tight fist, stretching out those fingers. Then we have Spider-Man, stretching out our forearms. And last, we have Buzz Lightyear, stretching out the top of our forearms. Now this is step 1 in the 5 steps of creativity, to stretch before we start drawing. And remember, activity leads to creativity. So step number 2 is to think before we draw. And so we want to think now about Captain America's costume, his shapes, his stature, his proportions, as we prepare to draw Captain America today. Now step number 3 is to sketch, not carve. So now we're going to sketch out Captain America. Now because the majority of his costume is going to be blue, I'm using a light blue pencil as we start to sketch out Captain America. Now on the top half of your paper, you're going to draw the letter C. And below that, you're going to draw the letter A. So we have a C and an A for Captain America. Now pay attention that I didn't have the C touching the A. Okay, leave a little space there. Now on your paper, make sure these shapes are about the same size on your paper, and we'll continue to the next step. Now we're going to sketch out his belt, or where his belt line will be. And then we're going to use 2 straight lines, which are going to represent his legs. So see how I'm making this letter X? Now after that, we're going to draw C curves for the top of his boots. And underneath that, we're going to draw a rectangle. Remember, we're sketching this character out, so I'm not concerned about making perfectly straight lines. I'm just trying to get the shapes right. Now we're going to go back up to his head. We're going to complete our circle. And then we're going to draw the 2 important lines on the head, which is your center line and your eye line. So we're going to have Captain America looking slightly up and to the side. From there, let's connect his head to his body. And then what I want you to do is, because he has broad shoulders, you're going to extend out the shoulder line just a little bit farther and then bring them down to his waistline. Now from his shoulder, we're going to draw 2 C curves, followed by a square. Sketch this out lightly. Now for Captain America's shield, it's going to be covering his other arm. So we're going to start at his shoulder line, and I want you to draw an oval. See how I'm sketching out this kind of lightly? Start with an oval here, and it's going to cover most of his arm. Now we're going to go back up to his head, and I want you to draw in on the center line. Where the center line and the eye line meet, you're going to draw his nose. Now notice I didn't put it right where the two lines come together because he's looking to the side, and so we're going to see more of the side of his nose than the front of his nose. Now next step is we're going to draw the letter W. Now watch how I do this. I'm going to start on the eye line. I'm going to come down, bring it back up, down on the other side, and it makes the letter W. Now we're going to draw the opening in his helmet. So we're going to use a C curve, and on the other side, a larger C curve, because his head is turned. So the eye that's closest to us, or that eye hole, will be a little bit bigger than the one that's going away from us. Next, we're going to draw in his ear. So I want you to draw in an oval on the eye line. And then you're going to draw his chin strap, or his chin cup here that keeps his helmet on. Now this oval should be relatively the same size to the ear you just drew. All right, now we're going to go back up and we're going to draw the bottom of the eye hole in his mask. So see how that C curve is angled down. And then on his eye line, we're going to draw a C curve on the eye line. Like that. And we're going to have him looking up. Okay, so have him look up in the air. And then we're going to give him a smile. Maybe a little smirk. Bottom of his lip. All right, next step is going to connect his helmet to the chin strap. We're going to see maybe a little bit on the other side. And then we're going to draw the back of his helmet right here with the letter L. Now this is where you want to connect another strap that goes perpendicular to his chin strap to help make sure that his helmet's on nice and tight. Okay, let's continue down now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw his collar and some more details on his chest. Now remember, when we're doing these drawings, we're going from larger shapes and we're slowly creating smaller and smaller shapes within the bigger shapes. So that's kind of the mentality you want to think about when you're doing these drawings. Start with the big shapes, get the whole pose in from head to toe, and then we'll start breaking down each larger shape into smaller shapes. So if we were to draw a center line on Captain America, this will help divide up his two halves. And then we're going to make a C curve that comes across his belly and the buckle on his pants. And then of course, we want to give him these pockets or pouches that he can use to hold his snacks and rations. Next, we're going to add his boot line on both sides. And this is something important to note. Our knee is located halfway between our waistline and to our foot. So if we want to draw in his knee, we want to make sure we're placing his knee pads about halfway down the leg. And then so you're going to draw his boot right below that. Same thing on his glove. So we're going to draw his gloves coming up maybe about halfway. And then we're going to add some straps to his gloves and his boots. So on his glove, add 3 more C curves. And on his boots, you can add a couple C curves right there. Now we're going to go up to his fist. And remember how we did that. We're going to draw this curly Q shape. Now we can draw the stripes on his stomach. Now what I'm doing is drawing a straight line on each side of the center line. That's going to be a red stripe. Then I'm going to draw another one to the left and right of that, which will be white stripes. And then if you have enough space, you can add one more stripe in there to go back to the red. Now let's go up to his helmet. Now on his helmet, we have to draw the letter A. So on our center line, what I want you to draw are 2 parallel lines, a shorter line at the top of his helmet and a wider line at the bottom, kind of between the top side of his eyes. Then you're going to draw the inside of the A and a little triangle above that. That way you have that nice block letter A on his forehead. Now Captain America also has wings on the side of his helmet. So you're going to draw the number 7 on the side of his helmet. Draw another parallel line below that. And then a smaller parallel line after, and then one more. And by connecting these, it looks kind of like an upside down staircase. Now on the side of his helmet, you see by the eye hole here in his helmet, see how I'm making this C curve going in the other direction? Okay, so this is now where we can add some cool contour to some shapes. We're going to draw the inside of his ear. See, I'm starting to darken the shapes now. On his shoulder, we're going to give him a little bit of a shoulder pad here. So after drawing the shoulder pad, next we're going to draw the star on his chest. Now, one of the easiest ways to draw a star is to start with the letter A. Now, if you extend out the line across the A a little bit farther, then all you need to do is connect the tips of the star with diagonal lines. And that gives you a nice symmetrical star on his chest. Now after this, I'm going to be putting in the pockets on the side of his pants or pouches, just with simple rectangles. And now we're going to finish off this sketch with his shield. So just like on his face, we have to draw a center line and a horizontal line to create the center of the shield, but we're drawing it in perspective. So when we draw the letter A this time, make sure you follow along the center line, extend out the A a little bit farther on that horizontal line, and then connect the tips of the star with diagonal lines. Now to get the stripes right, you want to make even measurements from the star to the edge of the shield, breaking it up into thirds. Now this means that you actually have to put markings along those lines to evenly space out the distance. And then just connect those points starting with the star using C curves around the shield. And by doing this, you've now drawn the shield in perspective. Now after we finished our sketch, I'm going to speed this up a little bit because now the fourth step is cleanup. Just remember when you're doing cleanup to take your time. You already have the lines down. All you need to do is trace them. You're going to use your thicker lines on the silhouette or the outside of the character to define the action and the pose and the overall silhouette. And the inside of your drawing is usually going to be thinner lines because you don't want to distract from the overall pose. Now, the other important part of cleanup is that you're going to be adding additional details to your drawing that you may not have included in the original sketch. So these would be things like stitching on his straps, maybe folds in the clothing or wrinkles, buttons on his pockets and pouches, the clasp on his buckle, straps on his gloves and on his boots, and any other additional details that you want to add to make your drawing more realistic. We've taken our drawing from very large shapes and refined it down to smaller shapes, and now during our cleanup step, we're adding all the little details. Now on the shield, you want to pay extra attention to making sure that these C curves are nice and smooth. And you may have stencils at home to make these lines even more refined. Now the last step is step 5, adding color. So just remember when you're adding color to Captain America that you're coloring in the same direction. When you color in all different directions, that's called scribbling, and it ends up looking very messy. So color in the same direction as you're coloring his uniform and his shield and all the different elements of your drawing. The colors you're going to need are blue, red, brown, and black. And if you want to add some skin tone, maybe orange very lightly for his skin tone. Now to draw his shield, to make a reflective effect on his shield, you can skip coloring some of the red on his stripes here and there to make it look like there's a reflection of light and his shine on a shield. So as we wrap up our drawing today, I wanted to thank you again for watching how to draw Captain America, starting with the letter C. I really hope you've enjoyed this lesson. And if you did, you know what to do. Make sure you strike that like button. And if you're not a subscriber yet, well then smash that subscribe button. And then ring the notifications bell in the upper right-hand corner to all. So anytime we post new content, you don't miss a single video. So until next time, remember your ABCs. Always be creating. Make it a great day and stay tuned for more videos. Domo arigato.